This is just the start, guys. And that third game of Leenock versus Apocalypse, that was a finals game, man. I liked it.
That was awesome, though. Oh, man. Have I ever seen 3 Hidden Infestors win a game more convincingly than that, though?
Oh, boy.
All right, guys, down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, we have our blue Protoss player from the Team Evil Geniuses. It's E.G. Huck RC. His opponent in the upper right-hand corner is the red Protoss player, down 0-1 in this set. It is Gosu's Hwangsin.
Yep, big shout-out to E.G.'s manager as well. If you look at Huck's name, it's Evoli. You know, really cool manager guy.
Bay Area resident, and we see him quite a bit around and about. Cody, good guy. Pretty darn good player himself, too.
Awesome glasses.
Yes, yes. Makes me feel insignificant glasses, really, I have to say. So we'll see what both these players end up offering here. Hwangsin did choose this map specifically. We mentioned before, there's a potential, some pretty strong harassment here. You see how much cliff line there is actually to get into the main.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot of damage there, or you can float around the top with warp prisms pretty easily. So this is a, while it can certainly stabilize, and you can see a big War of the Worlds style Colossus versus Colossus push, this game can be pretty quick, actually, on this map.
Yeah, they're both equal again. Another interesting thing, if you look at it, Huck's again that half a second ahead on that probe, which again, you know, doesn't mean too much, but it means something in PvP.
Yeah, that's a full 5 seconds. I mean, without trying to get too far into the details, that's a seventh of a warp gate, you know, time in. I mean, that's a significant period of time where you have units and your opponent doesn't.
I'm really curious to see if Hwangsin's going to... Oh, okay, this is interesting. There's no gas, or just that gas is very, very late. I guess he's 2 gassing.
Yeah, that makes more sense, because usually when you see the 12 gate, it's a 14 or 13 or 14 gas that's going to follow it up, but going for the double gas is something that we actually talked about in the last game. It offers you a lot of flexibility. You make a little bit more of an investment at the beginning, but then most players will drop 2 on each gas, you know, slowly move up to either a Robo and expansion or go up into Twilight Council pretty early on. Or you can do what Hwangsin's doing right now. You can put 3 on each and amass a ridiculous amount of gas.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. Surprised to see again. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I always feel like there should be a probe on the map if you're going to do something fishy. From either player, I guess Huck's playing very standard here, so he doesn't need it. But I get the feeling that with whatever Hwangsin's doing, you want to sneak that probe out as early, I guess as early as is still economic for you. And I guess that's a tough line to follow.
Yeah, all Hwangsin checked for was the proxy 2 gates. You can see his vision. He scouted all through here, but that's it. He didn't send it across the map. Now, that's a little bit in contrast to Huck, who's actually only just now getting out with his Zealots. This is all he's seen on the map so far.
Yeah, that's just kind of interesting, I guess, play from both these players. They're playing a little bit greedy, I guess, is the good term for it. Hwangsin getting that robotic spay up right now, though.
Yeah, I wonder how Huck is going to follow this up. He decided to go for basically the same timing on his second gas, but he's obviously moving into a quite a bit different build. No early expansion coming up for him, just prioritizing out that Twilight Council. And we mentioned Blink Stalker is really powerful here.
I think Huck's just going to go for a 3-gate Blink Stalker build, and I think Hwangsin's just going to probably try and go for Immortal into Colossus and maybe even do a 1-base timing against it.
All right, well,
hypothetically. Here's
gateways number 2 and 3 coming down, and, you know, Huck is going to have pretty much just enough gas for that Dark Shrine whenever this finishes up, and he cancels the Twilight Council at the last second.
He owned us, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, Hwangsin didn't know a thing was going on, but Huck is trolling us, and he's successfully done it.
Well, the reason for the cancel there was he got... I really don't know what's going on.
PvP, man. PvP. So basically, Huck has completely switched up based on what he saw. He knows that this expansion is coming up pretty early. He can't do too much damage to his opponent's main anymore. Didn't kill any workers or anything like that. Just lost his Zealot for his efforts. But he sees an early expansion and decides to cancel his 3 gateways in the Twilight Council and just go right for a 1-gate Robo expand himself.
Yeah, he's saying, well, I don't really plan on pressuring Hwangsin. He's going to get away with this expansion. He's going to hold it with Immortals and Sentries. So I'm just going to be greedy too. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like Forges or even just an earlier Robotics Bay to kind of get earlier Colossus up from Huck. Because Colossus are kind of, I guess, considered the quote-unquote general counter to an Immortal build. once you get to 2 bases, I guess.
Right. And we see so many players that have been throwing in. And that's so smart. I was about to mention that Huck, when he was actually leaving with a stalker before, he saw the observer float overhead. Yep. So he knew it was making its way across the map. And he timed this perfectly. Chrono boosted out to that right on time, moved his stalker back, and picked off his opponent's observer. Just really smart heads of play. So all those resources lost for canceling the Twilight Council and the 2 gateways, he just made back.
Pretty nice play. And there's the Robotics Bay coming up from Huck to do that. It's going to make the sentries that Hwangsin has been kind of saving up a little bit more useless, interestingly enough.
I mean, once you have any sort of ranged Colossi getting over the top, I mean, they just melt through everything up at the front. In super late game PvP, you often see that you know, a lot of players, because they want those immortals, they want the huge Colossus count. Some players will actually throw in a few more immortals.
Wow.
Okay, all right. I don't even know what to say about this game anymore. Hands are in the air. We have double Stargate coming up after all the canceled stuff for Huck. Hwangsin putting up that double Stargate, though. I want to see what he's going to do with this.
It's mind games, man. It's like, I'm going to trick you. No, I'm going to trick you. No, I tricked you. Just keep going with it, too.
Okay, sure. Now, Huck's not picked up on this yet. We'll see if he decides to float that observer in there. Is there an observer up for Hwangsin? Yeah, I don't know where it's at, though.
It's probably around at the army. Yep.
There it is.
So he's going to maybe see that observer, yep, but he's not going to be able to kill it because he only has sentries. And if you look at Huck, you see he doesn't have gas at his third still, or his second still, excuse me. He's just kind of going for a very standard-ish play. I guess you could call this standard. But
yeah, I mean, this has just been a bizarre PvP. But you know what? This is very this is actually showing what PvP has kind of become. Obviously, while not this crazy usually, we're not just seeing the standard. Well, did you 4-gate? No. Well, are you going for 3-gate blink stalker? Do I have a robo counter? No. Well, game's over. You know, it's becoming a little bit longer. People are starting to explore more late game compositions.
I think the game's going to end right now. You know how we were I was thinking he's going to go into Colossus. He's actually only going to go with 1. Really, really interesting timing here. Where this wouldn't work if Hwangsin had went for something besides 2 Stargate Phoenix timing.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it's going to work out really, really nicely for Huck. He chose this timing to at least poke, because he could probably run away with this as well if he needed to. And he's just using that earlier Colossus than Hwangsin.
All right. Well, Hwangsin is actually just going to get these Immortals murdered. That's so many resources lost already. The Phoenixes are floating their way down. He's going to have 6 of them here in a second. That's going to be able to pick off the Colossus pretty quickly, but it's not really going to be able to do too much against anything else. And already Huck has done the vast majority of his damage. He's only killed 3 workers, but now he's completely neutralized a base. Even if he loses the Colossus, it's not that big of a deal. He killed all the sentries, so he doesn't need it to run over force fields or anything along those lines.
Yeah, moral of the story, don't be afraid to cancel buildings.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, well, all of the stalkers get picked up in the air, yes, but there's nothing to really sit there and do damage. There's GG and a sad face from Hwangsin, and unfortunately he goes down 2-0. All right, so that is game number